Being able to hold a strong plank position has many benefits on every exercise that you do. So the primary area to get strengthened up in a plank is going to be your core, okay? A core is not just your abs, it's your center of your body all the way around. So think about having a big girdle on from your chest to your hips, all the way around the back, that is your core. So what we want to do is make sure that your core is as strong as possible. So when you're doing planks, we want to get you maximum benefit out of being in that position. So when you go into a plank, one of the number one things to focus on is creating tension, all right? Or what's called time under tension. So how do you do that? Well, if you think about from the feet all the way to the hands, we want to make sure that when we're in a plank position that we're up on our toes. You'll see a lot of people when they go into plank that their heels get closer to the ground. That'll make more sense in just a second when I show you, but we want to make sure that you're on your toes in plank position. All right, now what we want to do is get our hands set properly. And from there, for most people, hands directly underneath the shoulders, maybe slightly wider, but you want to make sure that they're not out in front of you. This is a common mistake as people go into a plank position, have their hands way out in front of them. We need those hands directly in line with the shoulders here, all right? Now, what's gonna happen is, again, I'm on my toes. I'm gonna lock my legs out tight, squeeze the butt down tight. So what I'm doing is from the bottom of my body, I'm creating tension all the way up. So toes, knees locked out, squeeze the butt down, squeeze the abs up, press my hands down through the ground as hard as possible. Now I've locked all parts of my body together with tension. I want to press through that ground nice and hard. You'll see that it slightly rounds out my back. This is proper plank position, and this is how you know your core is engaged, okay? Another common thing to avoid is head position. A lot of people will try to look up. When I do that, that makes my core want to drop out, all right? So keeping my chin tucked to where my eyes are looking slightly out in front of me, creating that tension as tight as possible, really important. So a plank is an active position. So we actually press down through the ground as if you just finished a really strong push-up. Okay, so that's plank position number one. The next most common plank position is on the forearms. Now I say forearms, and that's really important. A lot of people think about this style of plank as being on your elbows, and so they put a lot of tension and stress on their elbows when they're in this position. We want to use the long, flat part of the arm as the place where we put tension, okay? So the setup to know I'm in the right position is to make sure that my eyes are directly on top of my thumbs, okay? When I do that, that means my shoulder is going to be on top of my elbow, and that's the bone stacking that we want to happen because this gives us power, okay? If I start losing this positioning, what happens is I start losing power in this position, in the plank, and most likely I'm gonna start moving my hips out of position, which is gonna start to mess with my back and turning my abs off. So that shoulder stacked on top of the elbow is really important. I found for most people, if your eyes are directly on top of your thumbs, that you'll automatically have this happen. So tension down through the forearms, on those toes, lock those legs nice and tight, squeeze the butt down, draw the abs up and in, press down through those forearms, create tension. And you can see that's gonna round my back out slightly, but I wanna keep that tension as strong as possible. It's almost like you're lifting weights right here. How tight can you get? Stay tight. Every time you breathe out, squeeze those abs up toward the spine as tight as you can. All right, so when you're done, just lower one knee to get yourself out of that plank. So those are the two main ways to do planks. Again, the most important thing that you can think about is being active in the position, creating as much tension as possible. Now, one of those things I was telling you was you'll see people's heels get close to the ground. Watch what happens when I do that. So I can be in the best position possible, right? Which is here, chin out in front of the hands, pressing to the ground hard, legs nice and tight. But as soon as my heels start to go toward the ground, look what happens. My butt is going in the air. Now I'm not able to squeeze my butt down, so I'm losing energy there. My heel's closer to the ground, so now I'm getting a big stretch on the back of my legs, which is not the point of this exercise. Now my face is behind my hands, which means my abs are not working, okay? So I wanna make sure I stay nice and long right here. That way the core can get the work it's supposed to get. Same thing on the forearms. You'll see this is very common. People start to press through and you have this kind of thing happen. You see them looking down between their arms. When you do that, heels are getting closer to the ground and you're losing your core tension. Stay nice and long, keep the eyes on top of the thumbs, and you'll get the maximum benefit out of your plank through your core.